Hi, I'm Chris from Airwindows, and hey, you can do this. Because this is Airwindows pitch delay. So you gotta excuse me a little bit with this one, because I just spent like half an hour doing a video and the audio wasn't patched through. I'm tired because I just got some firewood in for the winter and I stacked an entire cord of firewood because I thought it was going to rain. So, what is pitch delay? Well, you can kind of hear what it is already. Pitch delay is exactly the same as tape delay. Tape delay 2 specifically. Except that rather than having the flutter control, we've got a pitch control. As you can see, which does this. Now it's a fairly similar thing. But there is a wide variety of wackiness you can get into with it. And I can demonstrate it as follows. Check out this madness. Again, I spent a little too much time doing this before, so let's just do this really quick and get it over with. Airwindows pitch delay does a lot of really strange things. What you're hearing is this could work almost as a voice disguise thing, where I've got regeneration at 0, otherwise it goes really insane. I've got a very fast echo, and pitch is all the way at 0. Now, one thing to notice about this is that with pitch at 0.5, we've got basically unity gain. And when I stop having regen be so loud, we've got, or I should say unity pitch, as it were. It's still engaging the pitch shift algorithm, but it's not doing much with it. And we've got our frequency control, which can alter the tonality of it or make it a lot brighter. We can increase resonance in order to have those wacky effects that we can do with tape delay. But then when I start moving the pitch control down, we have a lower pitch echo, which of course can regenerate. And then we reach a point down here where there's like nothing. And that's because we have increased the regeneration so hard, or we increased the pitch shift. It's going down so much that the pitch shift is down to basically 0. But as we continue to lower the pitch control, we get into negative pitch. And negative pitch sounds kind of like this. So it works like a voice disguise thing. We're actually back at the original incoming note pitch, more or less, but the buffer's being scanned backwards. And so that has a striking kind of tone and voice disguising effect. But of course, we don't need to stop there. We could edge it off of the controls so that we have the alien voice, but now it's also a weirded out disguised voice. We could make it be a dark tonality using the frequency control. Or we can throw a little bit of regeneration on there, and no good will come of that. So this just further exaggerates the adaptation of tone from what we originally had, and it goes completely bonkers. And we can also, again, throw a little bit of the pitch thing on there, and we've got the big monster voice. Rah! If that's something that we want.
Or we can do a increased pitch voice and go with a very high frequency thing to more accurately give the sound of an angry chipmunk. I'm going to maybe see whether I can do a straight up pitch shift effect of this nature, because it seems like this is more realistic somehow than Glitch Shifter, but it also has a lot of possibilities as far as just weirding things out.
As you can plainly hear.
As you can plainly hear. As you can plainly hear. As you can plainly hear. As you can plainly hear.
That's pretty aggressive.
That's pretty aggressive. That's pretty aggressive.
Oh no. Now we've gone really strange and aggressive. That's fine, I guess. So, this is Airwindows PitchDelay, and I hope you like it, although this noise it's making right now is Airwindows PitchDelay is, of course, audio unit VST. It runs on Windows, it runs on Linux, it runs on old and new Macs, all the way back to PPC and all the way forwards to the M1 processor. It's a variation on tape delay, and I hope you like it. But wait, there's more. This is what took me all the time when I did the previous recording that didn't get the audio. Again, I was tired. I've been carrying firewood all day. I have had a plan of taking superfluous money from my Patreon. By superfluous, I mean if I'm earning anything over $2,000 a month, and dedicating it to the purchase of desired equipment that people would like me to make plugins of. And this is something that's been moving for a while. I did a series of filters that were not emulation filters, but I was kind of getting familiarity with the range of weird things you could do with biquads. And I've done a existing emulation filter, the Macity and MackyQ plugins. And those are essentially, they're acting like some of your classic old pre-VLC Mackie mixers, which are known to be completely appalling, but if you distort them and run electronic sounds into them, they can be amazing. Well, firstly, I've decided that I'm going to throw everything I ever earned on Google AdSense for the YouTube videos. For anybody who is not actually ad blocking and is seeing those everything I have ever earned on YouTube towards this project. And that's retroactive. So far with the current state, and I agreed with this, people asked me to do this on my Patreon, where the superfluous income that I earn is up to about maybe $300 and $350. But if I include all of the AdSense, we are at $1,490.37. Now, the next piece of equipment I have agreed to get is the EMU SP1200. So we're not there yet. We've got a ways to go, but I thought you might want to know that there is that going on. And one more thing, which is, you know how I've been doing these plugins like X region, X low pass, and so on, getting the familiarity with that. And I got a sampler that I was not comfortable using because I don't really know how to make it work. But I got a real deal EMU sampler, one of the ones that the drum and bass folks like so much. And well, check this out. This is why they like this sampler so much. This is a recording of that actual sampler. I got my test signals out of it. So the real sampler can do this. This is not a plugin. This is not an emulation. This is a nice, clean recording of the piece of hardware people want me to make a plugin out of. And now I got something to study. Now I've got a target to reach, because that's how I do this. And I couldn't go by just people sending me samples, because I need stuff like this. I need to be able to listen to what it's like when you take the drum sample and you go, okay, they liked cranking stuff out, so let's boost it by 24 dB. Let's boost it by another 48 dB. Now let's play with the filters. And this is what you'd be able to get if you did that. This is the technique by which people did a lot of classic drum and bass basses and crazy noises back in the day. It's a little exaggerated, but I need to know how it distorts. I need to know how it acts. And there's one further thing. Check this out. This is the high pass. Now that might be a little painful, but there's something very interesting about that waveform. There's characteristics of the output of this sampler that are similar to what the Mackie did for the Macity plugin. When we distort it that crazily, the fuzz of the high frequencies sticks out beyond what's actually clipping, and this is going to affect all of the stuff that the Z-series plugins will do, and this is going to affect the low pass, the band pass, everything. Like, we've got all manner of stuff. Here is, let's see, I think this might be band pass or something. Here's one before quite as much distortion. I think that's a band pass. I've got a couple of different distortion levels here. There's that high pass again. One thing about the high pass, it is exactly 1 bit louder than everything else. The output of it has had a bit shift gain added to it. So all the rest of this stuff is like this, but the high pass runs exactly 6 dB hotter. So I'll be working on that this coming Monday. Hopefully I'll pick something that I can do and it'll go reasonably well. I'll probably still be a little tired from carrying all that firewood, but you know, running your own little business, doing this kind of thing and being supported only by Patreon means you can't afford to hire anybody to do things. So you do everything yourself. But I'm happy to say that it's time to start working on those EMU. You can call it Z-plane filter emulations, except for that I need to make the point I am not using EMU's code. I'm not using their schematics. I'm not using their circuit designs. What I'm doing is I'm going to use Airwindows techniques to emulate the result of all of these things, because the result is really kind of awesome, and not all of it was necessarily intentional. Like the way that the high passes distort is very characteristic, and I'm going to need to model that, but it's not modeling in the sense of I got their code and I got their schematic, and so I'm going to mechanically just do all the things. No, it's using Airwindows code and Airwindows sounds to reproduce what's being done to the sound when this happens. And it'll take me a while. It's not going to happen instantly, but I should be able to put a plugin out about every week, and we'll see what happens. And again, like I said, we're working on moving towards getting the pricier and more unattainable SB1200, the classic 12-bit sampler of like classic hip hop and all manner of stuff like that. That's on the agenda. There's a big target painted on that piece of equipment. And when I have saved up enough through doing this to get one of them, I will get one of them and do what I just did with this and work out how to reproduce the vibe. Because it's one thing to be like, I reproduced the software of the thing and I reverse engineered by duplicating the schematic and so on, but you overprocess stuff like that and you start losing vibe. It doesn't necessarily come across the same way when it's strictly a plugin, but it's been overprocessed to death. That stuff acts more like a coat of paint. I want stuff that acts more like the live piece of equipment going into the mix. I'll see whether I can do that. So, and if you would like YouTube to show my videos to more people, which will, in a very small way, move towards this, like I said, the Patreon alone, I've got about $300, $400 towards the new sampler that I'll need to get to pursue this further. But when I include Google AdSense from all of the earnings that have ever come to Airwindows from like showing ads and things on videos, it's about another $1,000 all told over the course of all the years I've been doing this. So that's not necessarily going to move super fast, but if you were somebody who lets the video, the advertisements play or whatever it is, or wondered whether I was ever doing that, well, at least it's doing something useful now. On that note, if you'd like YouTube to show my videos to more people, well, you know what to do. And for the rest of you who are just interested in the plugins, well, maybe I'll see some of you on Monday when I settle down to trying to do some of these filters, like what you heard that I just played you. Because, like I said, I had the hardware. I never learned how to use it, but I was able to run my sounds through it enough that I'm able to essentially torture it until it reveals its secrets. Because I needed to do that. I needed to push it so far that the filters, these Z-plane filters that people are very excited about, freaked out as much as possible and showed me what they would do when stressed out to beyond all reasoning. And we'll see what we get. It should be very interesting. On that note, I have now done this video twice, and I'm going to go off and make my tacos and get ready to post it. I will talk to you folks later. Bye-bye.